and fry with guaranteed rates. And today I have the pleasure of sitting with Alison Scimeca. Alison is an awesome real estate agent with Compass here in Washington, D.C. Hello, Alison. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Excited to have you on. I know I just said Washington, D.C. I know that's where you live, but where are you licensed as a realtor?
I'm licensed in all three jurisdictions, so D.C., Maryland, and Virginia.
Awesome. Awesome. That's always good to know for people who don't or do like to cross bridges. We know that you're a very successful, awesome real estate agent, and you're very good at what you do, but have you always been a realtor?
I haven't. This is actually my third career.
Okay. So without even knowing what the other two careers are, how can you tell me how those previous careers have helped you become a better real estate agent?
Absolutely. So I was in sports medicine and like rehab training for about 10 years. That was my first career. And I worked one-on-one with people, sometimes 3 times a week, and almost the entire time I did that. So you develop this really personal relationship with people.
Absolutely. As an athlete, I can appreciate sports medicine.
Yeah, so, I was an athlete at GW too. So, I mean, I understood it from the reception part of, being the person who needs the help and then giving it. And, you really quickly realize when you're in a role like that, that there's not a one size fits all answer for somebody's programming or their motivations or the resources that they have. So you have to really adapt. And if you're good at what you do, and I'd like to think that I was, I adapted my programming and the kinds of things I did with my clients to meet their needs. I also know that I was one of their most trusted people. I mean, I was privy to some really awesome information, like if somebody was pregnant, I found that out first. And so I was, and so I really learned this skill of just really making sure that I connected with my clients well and understood truly what was going on deep down, because that ultimately can affect any kind of action that they have. So clearly that can have a translation to real estate, because real estate, especially in this area, is a massive transaction. It's personal, it's financial, so it's a business decision. And all those things kind of get jumbled up together. So if you're not really listening to your clients, then, I think you're doing them a disservice. So that first job super helped me with that.
Yeah.
But then the second job, which is also good, I worked for a tech startup for not quite as long, just a couple of years. And anybody who's worked for a startup knows that it's basically like absolute insanity every single day. You're changing your approach, your goals based on whatever has happened that week. And so you're really quick to pivot and think on your feet and react to things. And again, real estate in this area can certainly be like that. You don't know where a listing is going to be listed. You don't know what the market's going to do. So being able to think on your feet and kind of pivot without having a total meltdown and freak out is pretty pivotal for real estate.
Because a lot of times as a buyer, even myself, whenever we're on the other side of the transaction, you need help navigating through those quick decision situations.
Yeah, totally. And I think acknowledging that some of these decisions are challenging, right? And so knowing that, really listening to people and hearing how they feel about these things is just so key. So that's how those other careers really helped me be the agent that I am today.
And back to the relationships side of the sports medicine, a lot of times people that we're working with don't even know what they want. They don't realize what they want. So, having that deep down relationship and understanding of how they operate and learning, who they are will help them realize what they want or find what they want. So that's awesome. Yeah. What do you think that is, or is there something specific that you think separates you or makes you different from other real estate agents?
It's always a tough question to ask, right? Because you feel like you're kind of tooting your own horn, but I'd like to think that I'm somewhat of like a Renaissance person. Like I've dabbled in almost everything, I feel like, in some way, shape, or form. I sometimes wonder if my clients think that I'm like telling these tall tales, because they'll say something like, oh yeah, I was a nanny once, or, I was a lead singer in a band, or I played, softball at GW, and the fact is, like, all of those things are true.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And so, I've just had a lot of things I've always been interested in. And so I know a lot about many things, but I would never say that I'm like the end all be all of knowledge in one particular area. But I think like that's also talks about why I think this makes me different from other realtors is I really don't like when somebody gives me like some BS response to a question. It's obvious that they don't really know the answer, or, you know, they're just not comfortable talking about it. I'm very upfront and tell people all the time, I think this question's better suited for an attorney, or this is what I think. However, I want to bring somebody else into the fold to get you the absolute right question. And my authenticity with that, I think, makes me different, because we've all dealt with professionals who want to save face and, you know, say things that they think people want to hear. And that's just not how I operate.
I'm laughing in my head because I can like literally like hear you and like think about you like cutting through the fluff and being like, no, like, yeah. So that's 100% true.
I think there's no shame in knowing what you know, and more
Not
importantly,
at all.
you don't know.
Not at all. Yeah. It's not your job to know everything. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So I mean, I've lived in DC for 22 years, I think, which blows my mind. But, you know, so if I don't actually know something at this point, I do have an incredible amount of resources where I'm happy to, you know, bring those people in or send my clients out to those resources. So I think all of those things combined really make me unique and differentiate me.
That's awesome. Well, since you are this Renaissance, you have this whole, you know, mysterious side to you. If you could pick one song that would be your entrance song, your theme song that like embodies who you are, and this is a very tough thing to do because I don't know that I could answer this question, but what would that song be?
Okay, so I'm just gonna just pause it and say, music is very, very, very important to me. One of the 8,000 jobs I've had that people may not believe is I worked at the 930 Club while I was at GW. So if I was like entering someplace and I had like a backup dance crew who was going to do like some coordinated dance with me, Vogue by Madonna, hands down.
So like a packed out stadium.
Slow lean in, we like snap together, we do some coordinated moves, it'd be great.
Awesome.
But AC/DC Back in Black, that's kind of got a killer intro. That's been my intro room song, my go-to, my old standby for a couple decades now.
That's so awesome. I'm gonna have to put together this place for you to enter into now, so we can do both of these, and then I'll hire some backup dancers, and we'll get this going. I like it. That's very, very exciting. So back to real estate a little bit. If you could only give one piece of advice to a first-time home buyer, what would that be? What do you think is the most important thing that they know?
Yeah, so I think part of it, like the context of like what the real estate market is like now, and I think what the real estate market's going to be like for the next, you know, year plus, is I think you really need to do your research and talk to somebody in the market that you want to buy in. So in this case, in the DMV area, so like a lender, an agent, it doesn't have to be one or the other, and get your ducks in a row, basically. And then I know everybody has trusted advisors in their lives, but much like how my training clients, you know, back in the day didn't ask their parents for how to rehab their knee, I think buyers and even sellers should consider who they're talking to for advice about buying and selling homes, because unless they're here in this market, there are some general truths, but they don't always apply outside of our market. And so you want to make sure that you're getting solid, good advice and information from somebody who like lives in the sphere, like a you or a me, or, you know, so somebody who truly understands what needs to be done to get you in the best position possible to either buy your home and get it with as little, you know, struggle as possible, or sell your home and have that process be easy and make as much money as you can.
Yeah, there's so many things that are unique to either our market or our specific time with COVID, or, you know, I call it the menu, the menu of products that you can choose from that are different for every person. It's tough to take advice from somebody who's gone through it but doesn't actually do it every day. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for being on today. Real quick, where can we find you? Like social media, what's the best place to find you?
Yeah, I mean, you can, if the central hub for everything I do is my website, which is theraredc.com. And from there, it will push to anything else. So Instagram, Facebook, I have a YouTube channel, I have my own podcast, Rent, Move, Buy. We talk about lots of different, different topics, totally tangential or directly related to real estate. So
That's
you can,
awesome.
I mean, it's almost impossible to not find me easily.
Are you on TikTok?
Thank you. Yes, I am on TikTok. I ventured onto TikTok not too long ago.
Have
So
you
yeah,
peer
but
pressured anybody else to be on TikTok recently?
I may have pressured you a week ago.
Well, thank you for that. I'm now drowning in TikTok. Don't know what I'm
Don't forget
doing.
me. Don't forget me when you're a big TikTok star.
I appreciate it. Well, seriously, thank you again for joining me today. It's so awesome to have you and learn more about you. And congratulations on all of your success. And I wish you luck in 2022.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.